Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to F1 23. So in this video we're going to start off Breaking Point 2, which is the continuation of the mode we had in F1 2021. Basically where you played as Aiden, who rises through the ranks, basically going from F2 to F1 and helping his team achieve 4th place. This time it's going to start off in the 2022 season with the brand new team into F1, and him and his kind of, I guess, rival Devon Butler are basically placed together in that team, and we're going to sort of see those events unfold along the way. So we're going to go through the first 2 chapters during this video. I'm going to try and double them up each time, and yeah, it should be a good little run as we go through Breaking Point 2 together. Quick little note though, during cutscenes I won't have any commentary going, I will let them play in their entirety, and I will talk in between when it comes to the gameplay, objectives and all that good stuff. So let's get into it.
Previously in Breaking Point.
Aiden, please tell us, how does it feel to be on the verge of getting behind the wheel for your very first race?
I feel like a little kid. I look around and I'm surrounded by my heroes.
And tell me about Casper Ackerman. How is that relationship coming along?
It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then?
He tried to stop them from signing you. Didn't want to play babysitter. We all feel sorry for you, mate. You never stood a chance with him.
I had a call this morning from Christian Horner. You're being watched.
You know what his problem is, don't you? Thinks you're getting too old.
You want respect, you give respect! That's how it works!
How about you give me a little respect?
How about you earn it first? I'm done.
You what?
I'm retiring.
Why didn't it work out between you two?
He's on more money than me,
What? He didn't want me on the team.
didn't I? And you thought I was past my best?
So none of this is true.
There's always gossip in the paddock. And ever since he's arrived, there's been one man at the center of it all. I want us to push for 4th. I want us to beat Butler. And I want that seat to go to you.
So Alfa Romeo potentially on track to really upset AlphaTauri here. Butler's closing in on Ackerman. Down the inside he goes, and they've hit each other. Butler into the barrier, and that looks to be the end of the race for him. The Dutchman looks to be continuing and...
It's great to see him still in this fight, Crofty.
Got the third, Aiden.
What about Casper?
We let Aiden pass.
Let Aiden pass.
We did it.
We did it. Have you seen the crasher?
Butler's okay?
Bruised ego, perhaps.
What was it like bringing a brand new team to the F1 grid?
You know, the first time you see a car, your car, with your branding, your name on it, in an official race, alongside Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, that's what it's all about.
You make it sound like a dream come true.
If only.
When did you first get a sense of what was in store for Konnersport?
2022 season, straight out of the box. The drivers were always going to clash. That was a calculated risk. But the car had problems.
We're midway through the Miami Grand Prix. It's been a cracking race so far, and it's all up for grabs.
Absolutely, Crofty. Some fantastic driving here today, especially, I have to say, from Aiden Jackson. I don't think I've ever seen the Konnersport car being put through its paces quite like this.
This is a team, Konnersport, that have got a lot to prove this season, but Jackson might just be the man to do it.
Okay, Aiden, nice job so far. Let's try and bring that...
So here we go into Breaking Point 2. We have our first objective, which is during a race at Miami for 2022, which was obviously a new track for then. Now the intro, as you can tell, we're supposed to be having a ton of pace at this track. In terms of difficulty, I've gone for the kind of regular difficulty, so in the middle, but to be quite honest, the AI did feel rather quite easy, so this is certainly something I'm going to be turning up for the next few episodes, just to kind of get a bit of a challenge. It almost felt a little bit too easy, so just a heads up, if you are jumping into this for the first time and you are kind of, I guess a seasoned F1 player, or you're just confident in your driving abilities, certainly turn up that AI difficulty. They are far too much of a pushover, in terms of their kind of how they ratio and stuff on the first two difficulties. So basically our objective for this one is to just finish the race. As you can see, we're just under halfway through the race on lap 6 out of 14. We're running around about P11 currently, obviously working our way through the grid, and it's probably at this moment I realise that maybe I'm just kind of a bit too quick for this difficulty. Certainly far too easy. I guess the whole idea of this kind of Konnersport, or whatever they're called, this new team in F1, is the idea of the kind of sort of mid-pack to the back of the pack. I certainly shouldn't be charging, through the field as probably as quick as I actually am, but I guess the hint was, we've got a ton of base here, blah blah blah. But yeah, certainly in terms of kind of how the cars feel, I'll give you a quick kind of rundown of that, because there was the whole, I guess, ordeal that even on wheel and controller, it will feel absolutely, I guess much better than what we've had previously. Now, F1 22 I wasn't a massive fan of, to be fair, in terms of its physics. I just couldn't get along with it, whether it was on wheel or controller. F1 23 though, I'm kind of testing out what the controller is like to be able to compare it to what it's like on a wheel. So early doors, if you want to play on a controller, it feels absolutely fantastic, which is a massive step up from F1 22. So obviously let's talk about in terms of Breaking Point 2 and really where this story is going at this point in the game. So like I mentioned, obviously with the continuation from F1 21, which we had the original Breaking Point, it took a bit of a gap between 22. Again, that's where kind of EA seemed to kind of sort of take over the reins, and the whole EA theme came into the game in terms of its stylization and such. And obviously it's returned with the beginning of Breaking Point 2 taking place in 2022. Overall, it does feel rather quite good. I'm glad this story has actually come back. It was certainly something different, and whilst at times I felt like the original Breaking Point was quite, I guess, corny at times and felt a little bit forced, and some of the characters and some of the actions and stuff was kind of like a bit of second-hand embarrassment. It's probably going to be a bit of a continuation of that, where I just feel like it just feels a bit awkward and forced at times. But certainly it is something different for F1 games, and I am happy to see it return. It's a good little story mode. It's great that it's continuing, obviously kind of more centered around sort of, Aiden Jackson and this whole new team and stuff, which I think is quite a good ordeal. Obviously previously we got to choose our teams, so we had, I believe, like AlphaTauri, Alpha Romeo, Racing Point, or whatever they were called back then. I'm pretty sure they were still called Racing Point at that point, obviously with the pink car and such. And we sort of, kind of had that I guess, customization, so you could kind of sort of cater it to which team you wanted to be, of kind of the mid to rear pack racers. With this one, obviously that's kind of gone out the way. It's more of a structured story, completely centered around the brand new team. And obviously you will be continuing as the same character from the original Breaking Point, Aiden Jackson. And kind of, I guess at the beginning it's how he settled into the team, how the team kind of, I guess learnt from, one season to the next. So it does seem, quite good. It's nice to kind of get a focus not just around the characters this time, but also a new team and how they kind of work in terms of getting themselves into F1, and the problems they're going to run into along the way, as well as kind of the whole fact that we've now got Devon and Aiden at the same team during this, which obviously is your kind of arch rival, which I can see definitely come into blows. Obviously Casper, at least early game, is not present in this one, which was your main teammate, and it's sort of a rivalry you had going up until the end in the original Breaking Point. I'm assuming he's going to be kind of out of the way now. It's going to mainly focus around Aiden and Devon, the brand new team, and kind of seeing how it kind of unfolds with two massive rivals at the same team, and a brand new team trying to find their feet in the world of Formula 1. So it does seem pretty good. So as you can see, the race has gone pretty well up until this point. We're actually sat in P4, which I certainly think was probably a bit too, enthusiastic. I think realistically this car should have been a bit further back, but there is going to be a cutscene coming up soon to continue the story. Obviously, it's a fairly scripted story mode. Some things are massively out of your control, no matter where you kind of, place or how you're running and such. So we'll get straight into that, and I will return at the end of this chapter to kind of take you through some of the other features of Breaking Point 2.
I'm losing power. Why am I losing power? Copy that. We see it. We're looking into it. Okay, I'm afraid you're going to have to retire the car, please, Aiden. Retire the car. You're joking! I'm sorry, Aiden. Pull over now, please. Pull over now. This is getting ridiculous.
And that's agonising for Jackson. Just a few laps left to go, and he's out of the Miami Grand Prix.
Oh, with every race, the car looks like a constant problem for Konnersport. It must be devastating for the drivers.
Confirmation as the car comes to a halt. The Konnersport's Aiden Jackson won't be seeing the checkered flag today, but it looks like his teammate will. Jackson's DNF puts Devon Butler in a position where he might just be able to secure some points for Konnersport.
Aiden's out. Yep, engine problem, I'm afraid. Good job you got me. All right, Devon, don't push it too hard. We cannot risk losing both cars here.
It's in the bag, mate.
All okay, Aiden? Yeah, how's Devon doing? Yeah, he's doing all right, mate. He looks like he's going to bring home some points for the team. Good for him.
If it's not one thing, then it's another. Did you not see what happened out there today?
Aiden, I agree with you 100%. We are doing everything we can. I know the car is not perfect, but...
Andreo, it's every race. Do you know how I look losing easy points like this?
Knock, knock. Sounds like there's a right show going on in here. What am I missing?
Not now, Devon.
Aiden and I were just discussing issues with the car.
Again? I thought that was all in hand. I had no problems today. Smooth. You know what they say? A shoddy workman always blames his tools. mate. You can look at my setup data anytime you want. I've told you that. It might help.
And I've told you before, it's not a setup issue. The problem is...
Jackson, that was the problem with the 2022 season. Ask anyone. I mean, at the end of 21, everyone thought Aiden was going to be signed by one of the big three. But guess they couldn't reach an agreement, so we both signed for Konnersport.
And do you think that affected Aiden?
That's no secret. Now, for that 22 season, Jackson was a nightmare.
So we're now going to go to our hub area and kind of, I guess, garage area. This is where you'll kind of deal with the likes of sort of social media. You'll get news updates, emails, regarding maybe performance, upcoming races and kind of things that have happened throughout the story mode. Obviously, you can see what's going to affect certain things. So you're kind of based on both your performance, your reputation. So, how you're kind of perceived in the world of F1 through social media and stuff. Obviously, your responses and that will all affect this going forward. But not only that now, so obviously you have this with Aiden Jackson and kind of how he gets on through F1. You're also in charge of the team manager to make decisions for the team. With this kind of stuff, it will give you the likes of bonus objectives and kind of all that stuff. So it is pretty cool that it kind of branches out from just kind of Aiden Jackson entirely to being able to have an input on the team as well as the team manager. So as you can see here, we've got the likes of news, social media, email. Again, this is the stuff you'll check in between races as you are in the hub area. So your news will be kind of updates of what's happened. Social media, you'll see a few familiar faces from around YouTube having their input on the kind of, I guess, ongoing situation and such, or what's happened through the races. So as you can see, we'll just go quickly through the news. So we've got the uphill struggles, so obviously the challenges of the new teams. You'll also get phone calls in this area as well. So this is where where they'll kind of discuss over the phone what kind of happened in the previous race. Sometimes you might be with just your team manager, other times you might be with obviously your arch nemesis Devon, you know, kind of talking with the team manager about what's possibly gone on, where you can improve, and kind of, you know, as the manager kind of tries to argue with you to kind of get that relationship, you know, built up. So here's what it looks like for the social media. Again, there's probably a few familiar faces in there that you'll probably know, especially if you're kind of into the sim racing community. Obviously you'll have the likes of Jimmy Broadbent pop up, you know, all those kind of big names that'll kind of pop up from time to time, that'll have their say on kind of what's going on. I'm assuming, like before, your kind of followers will go up as you kind of, you know, go through and get more, I guess, popular throughout the grid in your new team. And then the emails, as you can see, it'll just kind of discuss maybe things that have previously happened or upcoming events. I'm not sure if you can reply to any of these and have your say to affect your reputation. I'm assuming you can at some point, but obviously those ones we couldn't get a reply to. So we're on to chapter 2 now, and as you can see, this is where the kind of team manager aspect kind of takes in. So we've got Andrea O'Connor, who's basically going to be the manager and the boss of the team. Again, we're going to be able to control him and have our say in certain departments or certain ongoing events to kind of, you know, push the team in certain directions, give you bonus objectives and all that good stuff. So we've got a question here. So with this being their home circuit, Stroll and Latifi have been all over the local media this weekend, and they're basically just turned around and saying that we are going to be easy fodder for the Canadian pit. Basically, they're going to beat us. And basically the answer is fodder. We'll show them who's fodder, and then you can either answer confident or ignore it. So I'm going to go with confident for that one, in the fact that I think we'll beat them. This will then give us a bonus objective for the next race. And then here we have another one that Devon was on a popular streamer's channel. He basically wants them to have a tour of the factory. Basically this kind of interferes with team building, and it also then goes on to say we'll have to reschedule the team building and let the tour go ahead. We can't put toothpaste back in the tube now. And then we can either be, you know, confirming that, neutral, or decline. I'm going to personally go for confirm. This is because obviously as a new team, having a good social media presence and kind of spreading the word about the team is always good, especially for new faces in the sport, or people that maybe once wasn't a fan of the sport, obviously picks up on the streamer, and then all of a sudden, oh, you've got new fans. So obviously I accepted that. Again, we'll just go through the news. This is for the Konnersport kind of social media, so this is purely just for the team, not the driver. Again, we've got another phone call, this time between Devon and the team manager, Andrea, which is who we're essentially being currently. And as you can see, it's a little bit different here. So we've got the likes of, you know, again, familiar faces just kind of talking about the team and talking about other things going on throughout the paddock. So yeah, pretty cool that you get two different sides of the story. Obviously your team, and then obviously the typical story of sort of Aiden as he goes through the world of F1 with this new Konnersport team. Obviously Butler Global, you can see what's kind of happening there. You know, it might be someone's certain father that's kind of putting a lot of money into this team. So, you know, I'm assuming that may play a bit of a role later on into kind of where this team goes. And again, if we check the emails, we just read about interviews, booking confirmation, stuff like that. And we also get a bit of a weekend preview. Obviously, you can see it's going to be the Canadian GP next. So if we just scroll through these, we've got, like, you know, people's booking out, your father's flight, this, that, and the other. And then obviously we've got the weekend preview, which will tell you all about what's upcoming at the Canadian Grand Prix. So we've got Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Aiden Jackson P15. Then we've got the likes of Red Bull, Ferrari. Basically just gives you an overview of what's kind of going on. So we'll start off with chapter 2.
Into turn 2 we go now. Butler comes out of the pit lane. Jackson is right there with him. This is dicey, Ant. Neither one of these two wants to give way.
This would have been a lot cleaner if Jackson had just let him go. He's just not giving him an inch.
They continue onwards, still wheel to wheel, almost touching there as well, as we head down the straight towards the next chicane. Nothing to separate either car, and through the chicane we go. And now Jackson sends them both off the track, and Butler over a curb. That looked nasty.
And I do believe that one of their cars is damaged here, Crofty. I think it's Butler.
Damage, Ant, but also they've lost places too.
Unbelievable and totally unnecessary as well.
Well, one damaged car, places now to make up. What a complete mess that was.
So let's get chapter 2 underway in terms of the gameplay. So this is our primary objective: reclaim 13th place before the end of the race after that whole, I guess, starting debacle between myself and my teammate. Not looking good for the team overall. So it's going to bring up the board. As you can see, we're currently in P17 with our teammate just behind us. We have our main objective, obviously reclaim 13th, but we also have a bonus based on the answers we gave. So because obviously the two local drivers, and we said we'd beat them, we've got to now finish ahead of Stroll and Latifi for a reputation bonus. So we're going to get underway. As you can see here, we're currently P17, just running behind the Haas of Schumacher. Obviously, don't get it confused, this is essentially the 2022 season, not yet the 2023 season. So we're going to use DRS and pretty much dispatch of Schumacher right away. Again, it seems like we're running much better originally. Obviously, after that contact there on the previous lap, though, it did kind of drop us down. So we're going to try and battle through the pack to try and sort of get up a few positions. And again, I certainly had the AI set a little bit too easy, so I'm going to put them on the highest difficulty for the next video. Now here is one of our bonus objectives. As you can see, is marked by the star. So we're going to dispatch of Latifi as quickly as possible, but he's obviously going to fight us back. The Williams having some serious straight line speed. Again, I believe this was F1 2021 where I really noticed that the AI was rocket fast in a straight. It seems like they are still very quick in a straight line, but again, maybe not as quick as they were in 21. I remember that it kind of got balanced out very, very quickly. So we've already set fastest lap. We've already obviously made an extra move there by taking Ocon, and now we see our P13, which is obviously marked by our main target, so objective there. And that's essentially where we need to come to progress the story. So as long as we overtake Albon, we are all okay, but obviously we've not overtook Stroll yet. So eventually we'll have to, you know, catch up to him and get him dispatched for that little bonus reputation that we can achieve from, you know, I guess giving it the big mouth and essentially, you know, following through with that. So we're going to dispatch of Albon. We're going to try and go through the inside here. Again, not the best place to dive it. A little late on the brakes there, almost kind of too late, and running a little bit deep into that corner, but we did manage to get that position done. So currently we have achieved our main objective at this point. So we are currently in P13, which means we can then continue the story. Next up, we've got Norris to dispatch and Zoe. As you can see, we're just going to use DRS to try and get this one done as soon as possible. We have currently cleared the McLaren, but it is beginning to come back at us. Zoe's then going to move over to defend, which is actually quite nice to see that the AI does defend in these races. We're going to tuck in behind and go again through the DRS zone across the main, I guess, start-finish line. Again, we're getting nice and pushed and kind of squeezed, but we are going to get it through, get it into the left-hander, and then up ahead we can see our next bonus objective, which is Stroll. If we get past him, we're essentially going to complete all of our objectives for this event. So we're going to go into the right-hander here, into the left, and again try and power on through. Now in terms of the Aston Martin's pace, obviously it's not the 2023 model, so it's not the rocket ship, and kind of, I guess, bit of a beast that it currently is, but it is still a fairly, you know, decent mid-pack car. So again, we're going into the DRS zone, but we haven't got it this time. Obviously we're not within that kind of gap that we need. We're going into the right left. It does seem like we are a bit quicker through the corners, but a decent exit from Stroll there means that he's going to maintain this position. Now this is again a place where the AI is notoriously slow, this right-hander. Again, on exit we're going to get a bit of a slip, so we are going to lose a bit of momentum there. We're not quite getting that one right, but we are within DRS range this time, so we're going to activate DRS, get in the slip, and hopefully get this move done. So here we go. Are we going to get this move done? We're going to go to the left hand side. Stroll's going to have the inside line, and again we're going to make a bit of contact there. He just wasn't backing out of that one, and we do manage though to get ahead. Obviously we're past him. He did drop back quite a bit there after the contact. I believe no damage to either car. So that is us essentially achieving all our objective on a lap 15 out of 18. So with our objectives done and out the way, we did manage to take home P4 as we round the final few corners. Carlos Sainz takes the win. We are taking P4, which is a pretty decent recovery. I'm certainly going to have to get that AI turned up for the next race. But that is all of the objectives achieved for this one, you know, including our bonus, which is rather quite nice. And as you can see, that's where the kind of performance and, you know, kind of reputation carries on there. So we're going to get a nice podium finish here. Obviously Ferrari celebrating. Again, probably not something we're going to see too much this season, considering they seem to be next to nowhere in the 2023 season. But Carlos Sainz takes the win with the 2022 Ferrari. And yeah, we've took a nice P4 there. Not quite a podium. Certainly seems a bit excessive in terms of the position we got for the, I guess, essentially the car that we do have underneath us. So that certainly needs looking at once again. So I will promise to kind of turn up the difficulty to the max to try and give us a bit of a challenge going forward in Breaking Point. So here we go. We're going to get a nice little podium celebration here as Carlos Sainz does the nice little corridor walk straight onto the podium. Who else have we got? We've got Max Verstappen on the podium and Lewis Hamilton as well as Carlos Sainz. So there we go. That is your podium for the Canadian Grand Prix. We were just off of that. I mean, to be fair, in the end, we was definitely too far back to be able to actually do anything with that as the Ferrari team continues to celebrate. In terms of podium animations, it seems like it's pretty much unchanged for the last few years. So again, you know, the graphics certainly improved, but definitely, you know, the same character models, just a bit more kind of vivid and such. So that is going to finish off our second chapter. So I do want to give everyone a big thank you. We'll just quickly go through the news, check a few updates. As you can see, reputation, all that coming into it at this point. We're going to get a nice little phone call off of the manager to basically talk about what happened with the contact. Again, it's going to be, you know, the same through social media. You're going to see some familiar faces on about the, you know, on about the drama between myself and Devon Butler there during the race. So that's probably going to be a talking point for the next chapter. So that is the first two chapters of Breaking Point over and done with. In all honesty, it's very, very enjoyable. I do like the aspect of kind of going through Aiden's story and continuing that, with also having the added bonus of kind of, you know, I guess running the team in a certain way. The fact that reputation's there, you know, it kind of affects how you'll go through your season. Yeah, massively enjoyable. Breaking Point 2 already, for me, is looking more promising than the original, which was, you know, quite good at times. Definitely is something completely different, and it is nice to see it continued. So I'll continue tomorrow with episode 2. We'll go all the way through the chapters right until the end. So if you want to continue following me to, you know, check all the Breaking Point coverage for F1 23, that'd be absolutely awesome. If you like this content, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. I upload motorsport related content and, you know, anything from sim racing games to the channel. I'll have my my Discord, my Twitter and my donation link down in the description below. Big thank you to Poggers and the Control people for their continued sponsorship. Check them out again in the description. I'll have a few bonus codes there if you want to save a bit of money, if you're after anything like that. And again, a massive thank you to my channel members. Without them and their kind donation each month, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm going to sort them guys out some new perks. If you want to become a channel member, feel free, and I'll see you all later on. Take care, guys. Peace.